here. Are we better off as a country in this stalemate that we are in now, or are we better off giving the president his wall or him giving in and not getting his wall? To me, one or the other is better than where we are now. Now, I don't want the wall. I think it's silliness. I think a border security plan that includes some wall, which, by the way, is what we already have. But yes, beefing up our border security, which may include more pieces of wall, I'm okay with. But this idea of a wall to please the ego of the president, no. At the end of the day, though, we're now going to be hurting our economy overall. It's already hurt for the 800,000 plus. Now, and as this continues, it's going to start hurting all of us. So we'd be better off picking our poison, and we can't seem to do that. And we used to just be kind of a country that argued, like we had our spats, but things still got done. The grown-ups were still in the room to some extent, and now the grown-ups have left the room. And that seems to be true in the UK as well. In fact, when you watch the UK, it's actually kind of fun to watch their parliamentary sessions because it's craziness. They all yell. I mean, they just admit it. They're like just flat out. This is how we are. They just yell while she's talking. There's like no decorum there, which is so interesting because we think of the British being very, stiff upper lip and very polite and, tea with the queen and all that. And they're over there yelling at each other.
Right, because I think their parliament, they call it, we call our Congress the House of Representatives and Senate. Their parliament is the House of Commons, which is supposed to be the regular person going in and getting their say.
Right.
And you're right, it is nuts. And
they have the House of Lords.
Right.
And the House of Commons.
Right, and then it's so weird, too, because, we put our Speaker of the House and the Senate leader kind of like at the big fancy chair in front of the room.
Right.
And for them, like Theresa May, whenever she's talking, she's like in the middle of the room, but she's at the bottom of this pit.
Yeah.
With everyone looking down on her.
Yeah.
It's very awkward.
It is very intense the way they do it. But in any case, all of this makes me realize I probably don't ever want to run for president or prime minister or any major leadership position like that. No.
I'm curious, though, as to why so many like world leaders, local and abroad, have lost sight of the one thing that I learned growing up was the worst thing to do is nothing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Analysis paralysis is the worst kind of thing.
Right.
So what?
Right. That's my point, I think. Make a decision. And that's why I still say the president could be that, he could still win with moderates and independents. I mean, it's going to be harder with each passing day, but he could still win with them if he did I'm going to be the grown-up in the room here. Look, I am going to take the high ground here, and I will be the one to give a little bit. I still want a wall. I still think border security is critical, and we are going to get it, but we're going to get it first we're going to open the government. And then we're gonna all go in a room and we're gonna sit there until we work out a border security plan that we can all agree on. Like that to me seems like the way to go. So, look, as I said, I think it's gonna get harder day by day for him to do that and get away with it. But the numbers, the statistics are just not working in his favor. In particular, look, there have been a bunch of polls. There's, the Pew Center for Research did a poll showing now that only, I think, 29% of Americans support a shutdown for the wall. And that the CNN poll is also showing, and this should be especially troubling to the president, that that his support among non-college educated whites is dropping. And that is a group that he did really, really well with. Those are sort of known to be his strongest supporters, this group of folks who don't have college degrees. And now only 45% of that group are saying they approve of the president and how he's doing his job. So, a lot for him to think about. And now, of course, with these numbers about economic development, as we were discussing just a moment ago, how does that impact him? Is he even listening to any of this anymore? And listen, I know there are other things getting done in government, somewhat. Some things are, yeah, maybe. But it does seem like the focus is all on this. And so, if there are other things that, let's say, the freshman senators coming in, the freshman Congress folk coming in, if they're putting bills out and things are getting signed, they're not getting the press that they want on it for sure. So really, it's in all of their best interest also to get the government back open, because if they want to show their constituents that they're doing something, even if they still are, if they want us to hear about it on the news, they got to get the government reopened. So, I feel like we can keep saying this over and over again until somebody in power does something. It's just going to be the same story day after day after day, and I don't know what else to do except for to say maybe we all need to be contacting our senators, because we already know where the Congress is. They've passed multiple bills and said here's how we'll do it, and the Senate hasn't done anything. So let's get our senators here, Perdue and Isaacson, to start speaking up.
You would think that's where a compromise bill would almost originate,
right? Yeah.
Was in the Senate, then get approved by the House, then get signed or vetoed by the president.
There's been this weird doublespeak, because the Senate keeps saying, well, we're not going to do anything that if the president doesn't agree with, we're not even going to do it until we have a verbal from the president that he'll go with our compromise. But the president has done that already before. He's given verbals on compromise and then not signed the bills. So how do you even negotiate with somebody like that? Mitch McConnell, do your job.